Good day, everyone. I am Kathleen Angeles, and I'll be reporting part 10 of 10 of Module 5, Social Mobilization, Definition and Role in Social Marketing. So my group mates already reported the different types of mobilization necessary for social marketing programs to succeed. And for our part, we will be reviewing mobilization, social marketing to influence and shape public opinion. Particularly, we are um, we are reporting on the writing of Salmon, Post, and Christensen, mobilizing public will for social change, wherein they pointed out a few uh, key concepts. So first, mobilizing social will, according to Salmon, Post, and Christensen, involves understanding why there are some social problems that uh, the public catches on more easily than others, despite of what we feel their level of importance is. And oftentimes, it is because, or it is influenced by the power and resources of the advocate. So another pointer that they made was that the process of mobilizing public will integrates insights from various disciplines. So they are using insights from sociology, political science, communication studies, and public health. It was also pointed out that public will campaigns aim to legitimize social problems. So usually, most of the time, their public will campaigns move social problems from low profile to a higher one. And most of the time, this becomes key in setting policy agenda and by making the public talk more about this social problem. Um, Another pointer that was already reported by my classmates were how challenges for public will campaigns include overcoming dominance of individualistic ideology and achieving effective public opinion that influences policymakers. So the idea is always, as always with advocacy, the aim is to influence public opinion so that it will reach the policymakers. They also discuss how the community can be a mechanism for changes that emphasizes on the role of institution in shaping individuals' choices and environment. So in Salmon Post and Christensen's paper, they mentioned 6 interdisciplinary models and theories for public will campaigns. Now I'll be reporting the fifth and the sixth, social capital and social marketing. They mentioned, however, that these are tools and not models or theories, unlike the first 4 that was already discussed by my groupmates. So let me discuss the fifth one, social capital. So according to Lynn, social capital is defined as an investment in social relations with expected returns in the marketplace. So the core idea of social capital is that the actors are connected, or the connections of the actors are the ones facilitating communication and exchange of various resources. It's like when we get a job because we have a connection, we hear about a certain opportunity that other people will not hear about because they are not connected to that person. It's the same idea as being connected or following somebody on LinkedIn, and because you are following this certain person, it will be easier for you to hear about opportunities, and definitely it would be easier for you to connect and start mobilizing. It operates on informal networks, and it influences public will through the mobilization of communities by leveraging personal connections. Um, They also mentioned how communities with invested members are more likely to support social change efforts. They also talk about transforming communities into active agents of change rather than merely location. So when we talk about communities in terms of social capital, it's not just a place where you can mobilize people, it's a body of people which you can tap as agents of change, because there are key players in the community, and that's who we want to connect with. So this entails activating significant but often informal social networks and pinpointing mutually beneficial outcomes for all stakeholders involved. So because we want to tap into them being invested in a certain social change, we have to make sure that when we connect to them, most of the time in an informal manner, we are letting them know how they can, or their group, their community, can benefit from the changed behavior. Salmon Post and Christensen also emphasized the role of social capital in compensating for limited financial resources through grassroots involvement and coalition building. In other words, you don't have, even if you don't have that much of financial resources, if you have connections, if you're able to form coalitions, and if you can involve the local grassroots community, it can leverage your lack of financial resources. They also mention how activism within the social capital framework can be more effective if you form personal connections with elites. It would be easier for the elites, the ones who hold power. It would be easier for them to give attention to the social changes that you would like to campaign if you have personal connections with them. They also believe that social capital enhances public will campaigns through the following. So first, communication and education, um, influence and power, credentials and networking, and reinforcing awareness. So to add, let me also share a research conducted by Abad in 2005. So the data that was presented in the paper is not that relevant anymore, given that it's quite an old literature, but how it discusses social capital is something that I still find relevant. So um, he reviewed various literatures that describe and define social capital, and he found that social capital can be seen as public good and also as private good. So experts such as Robert Putman and Francis Fukuyama believes that social capital is for public good as it enhances societal efficiency through trust, norms, and networks. On the other hand, Pierre Bourdieu and James Coleman believes that it is for private good as it aids individuals or groups in economic transactions and competitive endeavors. Now, there are also neutral definitions presented in the paper. But to summarize, it is believed that social capital are resources derived from social relations. So this is also how it is being defined in the paper by Salmon et al. They also believe that it influences both private returns and public effects. So whoever is being connected, whomever's social capital is being tapped, whether it's private or public, they have they can do influences. They can influence both private and public sectors. It also impacts various aspects of society, including citizen participation, demographic governance, education, health, crime, and welfare, among many others, of course. It also correlates with economic performance, modernization, and market dynamics. And its absence, the absence of social capital, is believed to lead to social exclusion, poverty, vulnerability, and powerlessness. However, of course, there are criticisms and downsides mentioned about social capital. So first, they believe that social capital um, have excessive group claims, restricted autonomy, and hindrance to development by isolated and oppositional networks. So scholars like Woolcock introduced concepts like linking social capital, which aims to address criticism and emphasize the need to still reconsider or consider institutional contexts, as it can vary from one institution to another. Another critique, Harris, believed that social capital discourse often overlooks power relations and property rights. Among other challenges mentioned in the paper are definitional diversity, methodological imprecision, and versatility. Now, despite criticism, still, social capital offers promise in understanding social dynamics, shifting focus from individuals to relationship, and reasserting issues of value. So, we are tapping into the social capital despite of it being individual or micro. In essence, it can still be used for to mobilize and to influence public will, as if you are able to tap with or connect with the right networks. Now, for the sixth tool mentioned in the paper by Salmon Post and Christensen, social marketing. So I will not be discussing the definition of social marketing anymore, as this has been already heavily discussed in Module 4. But just to recap, social marketing is the application of commercial techniques to address social problems, emphasizing on influencing behavior change. It emphasizes, or at least in this paper, it emphasizes understanding consumer needs and modifying aspects of the 4Ps, the typical 4Ps: product, place, price, promotion, to influence behavior. But of course, since this is a writing in 2003, 4Ps is no longer just 4Ps. No, we know it's already as far as 7Ps. Now, Salmon Posey Christensen discusses social marketing two ways. First, as a mindset, where they believe that we should look at consumers as customers rather than campaign targets. They emphasize by emphasizing on consumer needs, segmentation, and research. So we don't only position messages without learning about our markets first. So you need to do rigorous research by leveraging what is already been tried and tested as marketing strategies used by the commercial sectors using marketing. Now, as a process, we ought to focus on the control and modification of 4Ps towards behavior change. Now, social marketing is very powerful, as it can alter social norms and decision-making processes essential for social change. However, it is being criticized for being too individualistic. So there are critics who are questioning its potential towards public will. So that this is how it connects to social mobilization, because what we're talking about in the module is how the type of social mobilization that will be key in social marketing. So, but in this case, they talk about social marketing as it connects with public will. So, public will be our social marketing in this sense. So first, it acknowledges that social change is not solely at the macro level. So when we talk about social change, we have to understand that the same as the social capital, society is made up of individuals, and if we tap on the individual, it can it can have a ripple effect. It can be infectious, and it can if we can influence the behavior of many individuals, of course, it will have a drastic effect on the macro level. Also, second, social marketing can effectively alter social norms. through collective decision-making processes and other structural factors crucial for societal change. So, however, it is important to note that not all social marketing programs focus on public will. So, despite limitations, social marketing indeed offer useful concepts and processes for achieving social level and individual level change. So here are my references and the sources for my image. I hope that you learned something from my report, and please check our forum for the questions. Thank you so much.